it's Cody from Tarot Readings from a Bitch, and today, September 1st, I figured that maybe I'd share some decks that I like to pull out around the beginning of September. To be honest, I've probably had some of these out since like mid-July, since that's generally when I decide that it's fall, but I feel like now is probably a little more of an appropriate time to do it. So I've got a few decks here. If you're interested in seeing, I've got some mass market, I've got some indie, and I've got some opinions. I only have one Oracle deck. This one I've pretty much never put away since I got. This is the Magic of You Oracle by Fiona Horn, and let me see. Marcella Bolivar has done this artwork. I am a huge fan of this artwork. Honestly, I feel like I'd just seen the cover, for years. I just got this a few months ago. And I felt like the cover's not really a good representation of what the cards look like. So I just left this sitting on the shelf for years, since like 2017 when it came out. So I guess joke's on me for just judging it based on the cover. So this one, it's got a pretty good little guidebook. This deck is... I have used this with pretty much every tarot deck. I edged it myself, you can probably tell, because it's pretty shittily done. Actually did this with one of those metallic gold Sharpies. It bled on the cards, and then I had to go back and, like, erase the mistakes and the disasters with alcohol. So, you know, be careful when you're edging your decks with the Sharpie, kids. So, this deck just really has, it's sort of getting into a little bit creepy energy. Like, damn, look at that. But a lot of it, I don't know. For me, this is really going to be an all-the-time deck, but I just feel like it's especially suited to this time of year, you know? So I'm pretty much pairing this with almost all the tarot decks that I'm going to be showing you. Because I like it and I can. I honestly wish that there was a tarot deck with art from this artist too, because I would buy that shit the second it came out. Sorry, they're kind of glossy. So that's my one Oracle. Sorry, if I don't put this away now, I'm going to end up with a huge mess. I know at some point Kat's going to get up here. Alright, this next one, this is a tarot deck I've been using since I got it. This is the Dreamkeeper's Tarot. This was traded to me by my friend Mary. And, you know, I thought, well, I would just give it a try, but I am actually really, really into this deck. It's got kind of a dark blue, cooler palette. Like, look at this card, it's just so perfect. I don't know, I feel like it's got sort of autumn sort of energies without being specifically, you know, Halloween-y. These decks that I'm showing right now, I tend to have a different sort of aesthetic that I go for closer to actual Samhain. Right now, it's just kind of late summer, early fall vibes. I don't really get too much into the creepy stuff, or maybe a little more playful stuff right now in the year. It won't be, you know, more serious and a little more somber, I guess, for me when we get closer to actual Samhain. This deck really surprised me. I feel like I'd seen some of the artwork for it. It's similar to that Magic of You Oracle. And it just didn't seem like something I was interested in. Like, I don't know. I guess I hadn't looked at this to see that she's like fish bones and all the stuff going on here. I don't know. I just kind of thought, I guess, that it was one of those little more light worky collage style decks, you know, and not even judging just by the box like I did with the Magic of You Oracle, but I was just judging based on kind of what I thought that maybe it would be. So again, something I need to stop doing, but, you know, I think we all do it. Alright, so this, I don't have the box with me. I do not remember the name of the author, the creator, the illustrator. I think it's all just one person, so. Anyway, that was the Dream Keepers. Next up, we have the Brady Tarot. This is the second edition. This is an indie deck by Emmy Brady. This deck, I feel like this is the first deck that I've ran into that actually has animals from my area. I live in the United States. I live in the state of Colorado. So it's pretty deserty here. It's kind of a little bit mountainous. I'm pretty far south in the state, so it's not too much of a mountainy kind of landscape, but enough. But this deck is just really special to me because these are all animals that I could walk outside and potentially encounter in my day. You know, a lot of times they tend to be kind of Celtic based, maybe sort of animal decks and things. Like we don't have hares here. I don't know, or you might run into like a seal or like a flamingo or some shit. Like, I'm landlocked. I don't see any of that stuff. The creator of this deck, at least at the time that she was making the artwork for this deck, was also in Colorado. So this is, you know, as close to my climate, you know, and the things I might encounter as I think it's gonna get, honestly. So this deck, it's got animals, it's got plants. I'm a really big fan of the way that a lot of the cards are sort of above and below ground. I pointed to those the wrong way. Just gives it really a lot of depth. The little guidebook for this is amazing. It's actually written by Rachel Pollack, so you know it's good. There's information about, like, facts almost about the animals, as well as sort of what the card is supposed to mean and why the things are in it. Just the richness of the colors in this deck makes me feel like this is late summer, you know? It's just, I always probably pull this out, probably the beginning of August or kind of late July, maybe. Oh no. I hate that card. Yeah, so this is one that I always pull out around this time. I probably will keep working with this until winter. I don't know. I really like so much about this deck. It just, for me, it just feels really easy to use. Like, the way the guidebook's written, the entries for it really just stick in my head. And so it's not like I need to keep referring to it constantly. If I've drawn the card once, then I remember it. Next is the Herbcrafters Tarot. This artwork is by Joanna Powell Colbert, and it's written by Letitia Guthrie. This deck, I love to get out this time of year, because it's what the land around me pretty specifically looks like this time of year. It's a lot of harvesting kind of stuff, you know, processing things into oils, teas, grinding some dried herbs. This feels like what I'm doing. Around this time, you know, the herbs and things from the garden are starting to flower, and you know, battling back, pinching buds off, or, you know, cutting some, and I've got shit hanging up in the ceiling of my kitchen right now. And even though all of these plants aren't necessarily native to where I live, it has very much that harvesting feeling, but also it still has enough. It's not like dry old crusty foliage, you know. It's the stuff is very much still alive. For me, where I live right now is really the time when the garden is doing its best. It doesn't really get cold here until probably the end of October, or maybe even the beginning of November. So yeah, this deck to me, I feel like at first I thought this was going to be more of a summer deck for me. But really in the summer, a lot of times the stuff is growing, or we have late hail here a lot. It'll just wreck your shit in May or something. So you end up planting later, you end up harvesting the stuff later. And this just feels like a very harvesty deck to me. At first I was also, I don't know why this is one of my favorite cards. I was scared of this deck because I don't really work with herbs and plants and things like that. So I felt like a lot of this stuff was going to be lost on me. But the guidebook is very approachable. I mean, it's got slippery elm, but it's not like that's the only thing. You know, it describes why the plant's being used. I don't know. Sometimes I have trouble feeling like I can't read very well with botanical sort of oracles and things like that. But with the tarot associations on this, I've really grown to like this deck. So this was the Herb Crafters late summer, early fall deck. So next we have the Jackolantern Tarot. This is a Lo Scarabeo deck by Giuliano Costa. The talk box is shit, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, this... Sometimes I think of this deck just out of nowhere. Look at these backs. Love. There's a certain way this... Oh my god. Alright, hold on. We gotta save that one for a sec. There's a certain way this clouds look in the sky that just makes me think of this deck. And it might even be the middle of summer, and all of a sudden I'm like, that's some fluffy clouds. I should get out the Jackolantern Tarot. This is a playful, you know, it's not really serious. It's called Jackolantern Tarot. I feel like it's, was designed, you know, to be used closer to Samhain, but to me this is too silly. It's just not something that I personally would pull out around that time, but, you know, people celebrate Samhain and the season differently, and maybe this is something you'd be more interested in. Closer to Samhain. Is that a croissant in the sky? I don't know. Some of the people, some of the proportions in this crack me up. Okay, this card. Look at that ass cheeks. Why did he draw the butt crack so specifically in a skirt? I don't know, man. This deck is fun to me to just use. You know, this isn't the kind of deck that I would do any kind of deep work or anything with. But it's cute. Cute for what it is. I think this is my only, I don't know, kind of silly, Jesus Christ, look at that sun. The only silly kind of Halloween-y vibe deck that's actually gotten me. Usually I just pass the shit up, you know, but I don't know, I was into this one. So there that was, Jackolantern Tarot. So I have these in a specific order here, a little more late summery, and we're getting a little more into early autumn. This is the Antique Anatomy Tarot. This is by Claire Goodchild, and this deck is the mass market version. So it's the suits. It's very pippish, but the suits are all like antique surgical tools. We got blades, a lot of blades. Okay, there's blades. There's rods for the wands. Oh my god. Coins. Where's the other ones? Is it? Oh my god. And elixirs. Each of the little elixirs has a creatively made little titles and things on it. That's just super cute. Again, you know, you got surgical tools, you've got anatomical sort of drawings, but it's still got the color, you know, just the colors of summer still existing, you know. So, this is a deck that I do deeper work with. I pair it with, sorry, my legs are going to sleep because I always sit, like, ridiculously. I forgot what I was just saying, but... Oh, deeper work. I usually pair it with, another one of Claire Goodchild's decks. But I'll probably show that one closer to actual Samhain. It's really more suited to, contacting the dead, so... So that was Antique Anatomy. The next one, and this one is kind of playful creepy, is the Dark Wood Tarot by Sasha Graham and illustrated by Abigail Larson. This deck I got like the minute that it came out as mass market. I don't remember if this one was ever indie or not. Maybe not. But I was really excited about it, and then I got it, and some part of me was like, you know, I feel like teenage me maybe would have appreciated this deck more than adult me does. Which... I feel like some part of me had, like, tried to bury things that I felt like were embarrassing. Okay, I don't mean to say that this deck is, like, an embarrassing thing to like, alright? I don't mean that at all. I was a teenager who was super into, like, Twilight and shit, right? I have, like, this massive, something about vampire lore book or something about, like, all the historical things and, like, the real things that vampires might, the myth might have stemmed from. And somehow looking at this made me feel like that, because I had been like, you know, oh, Twilight sucks and vampires are stupid and it's time to be a grown-up. Well, now I'm a grown-up. And actually it turns out that I love this shit. So that was kind of just a long ramble. I don't really remember where I was going with that, but... Oh, I had trouble working with this deck at first, just because it felt kind of cartoony. And, you know, just some shit teenage me would have been super fucking into, but... apparently 34-year-old me is into it too now. I love the borders on this deck. How, you know, certain things just kind of, I don't know if you can see, kind of bleed out past this little border here. It makes it feel like the borders are actually part of the cards. I don't feel a need to trim this at all. So this is just a good deck, I think, for kind of fun Halloween-y readings. I feel like a lot of times people ask me for readings, you know, in the Samhain season, more than they really do other times, because, I don't know, people just feel creepy and they're, like, into it or whatever. Alright, we're to the last deck. This deck I have not used through fall season before, because I just got it. This is the Bloody Tears Tarot. And the artwork is done by... You know, you can just say that yourself. I ordered this deck from the Ukraine. It came not too long ago. I'm super excited to get working with this. This is vampires. Okay. But... I think it's actually Dracula specific. The last time I read Dracula, I think I was probably like 17. So, I'm gonna reread to see if these are specific. Maybe they're not. You know, maybe they're just some vampire-y shit. All of this artwork was done with ballpoint pens. a blue, a black, and a red. So this deck is my shit. Like, this, I love limited, almost muted color palettes. I don't like when shit's like really bright and colorful. I don't know, it just freaks me out. I feel like for being made of the same 3 colors, these cards are very different. You know, the artist has done a very good job, I think. Not like when you lace them out, they don't have like, you might expect them to look really samey, but I don't really think they do. Jesus, just go over there. So I'm really excited to work with this deck. Again, I feel like this, probably closer to Samhain, is going to just seem a little bit silly to me. Not quite the energy that I tend to cultivate around actual Samhain. But, you know, I'm just very excited about this deck. Okay, I don't want to flip through all the cards because I'm going to do a flip through and like a little walkthrough and talk about it, but I'm excited to get to know this deck this month and probably parts of October at least. So yeah, these were my decks that I'm pulling out now that it's September. August felt a little bit too early in summary for some of these. So yeah, if you guys have some late fall or late summer, early fall kind of decks, I'd be glad to hear about them. I am definitely looking for Oracle decks that might go with this, so if you've got any recommendations, I would be happy to take those too. So alright, thanks for watching, bye!